All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's Time and Power. So let's do this. The prejudging has just wrapped up for men's open bodybuilding. And to say the least, it was an extremely interesting prejudging. So a lot of things happened that I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't expect. But first, let me just say, iHerb.com did a horrible job. A horrible job with that live stream. I'm sure a lot of you guys were right there with me when you were trying to watch that live stream and couldn't because it would buffer every 5 seconds and was just complete trash. I mean, for me, the live stream cut off during the individual routines right before Phil came out, and I never got to see a single call out or pose down or anything. So it was terrible. I didn't even get to see Phil come out, so I had to watch the rest of the live stream on Instagram. So shout out to Dennis James, actually, because I ended up watching it on there. So I hope for the finals on Saturday night, they get this shit figured out because it was terrible, very disappointing to a lot of bodybuilding fans. People trying to cover the Olympia, people having Olympia parties. Every year I have an Olympia party at my house, so I kind of plan my weekend around this live stream to watch the Olympia. I kind of have a viewing party every year. So I'm very disappointed in iHerb.com. Hopefully next year we'll be able to get the streaming rights to stream it on my channel where it should be. So let's get into what happened here. So very interesting. First, I want to talk about Big Ramy. So Big Ramy, I would say it's safe to say he probably was 310 pounds a day out from the Olympia. And I would say it's safe to say that those pictures that we saw of him posing recently were very recent pictures. His conditioning was not good on stage. He didn't have the detail he needed. And as a result of that, he wasn't in the first call out for the top 4. So Big Ramy, who took second place this year, will likely be in 5th or 6th this year based on prejudging. The top 4 were Phil Heath, Sean Roden, William Bonac, and Rolly Winkler. As soon as Big Ramy came out, you could see it. He wasn't conditioned. He certainly looked better in years past. And just the detail, man, the detail and separation, it just wasn't there. And as a result, he was punished for it. And that's what I've been saying for a long time. I say it every year. He needs to focus more on conditioning and not so much coming in big. And every year people say, you're just hating on Big Ramy. You're a Big Ramy hater. But my job is to analyze bodybuilding. And when I see a bodybuilder and I think they're coming in too big, and I think they repeatedly make that same mistake, I'm going to continue to comment on that. And that's why I'm so hard on Big Ramy, because I think he makes the same mistake every year. He tries to come in too big and doesn't focus on that detail and conditioning. And that's what he did this year. And I was exactly right. The judges know that Big Ramy can come in big. It doesn't impress the judges anymore. He's came in big since 2013. So it's not going to be good enough for Big Ramy to come in big this year without the detail. So that's what he did, and it hurt him pretty bad. So I also made the prediction that Dexter Jackson would fall out of the top 6 this year. It looks like I was also correct in that prediction because the full call out for the first call, all 6 guys, you had Sean Roden, Phil Heath, Rolly Winkler, Big Ramy, William Bonac, and Brandon Curry. So it looks like Brandon Curry is going to be cracking that top 6, and Dexter Jackson was not in that top 6 call out, which is exactly what I predicted. It's no hate on Dexter Jackson, but I said eventually he's going to slip, and he's going to slip hard when he does. He's going to slip out of that top 6, and a guy like Brandon Curry is going to sneak in there and catch him, and that's exactly what happened. I think we're going to probably see Brandon in 6th, but you could make a really strong argument for Brandon beating Big Ramy, and Big Ramy actually taking 6th and slipping from 2nd all the way down to 6th because Brandon was so much better conditioned and detailed. Brandon looked phenomenal. I think it was pretty close between Rolly and Bonac, but I think overall Bonac's going to take the win over Rolly. So I think Bonac's going to end up in 3rd and Rolly's going to end up in 4th. Now, between Sean and Phil, this is the interesting part. So they had the most drama and controversy at the press conference. Sean has been the most outspoken against Phil this year. And Sean looked incredible at this Olympia. Sean looked amazing. I can't say it enough. His conditioning, arguably the most conditioned guy on stage. I think Sean Roden's conditioning was amazing. When he hit some of those side shots, the separation in his legs, the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, everything popped. Crazy condition, crazy detail on Sean Roden. Now, I've said before, when it comes to Phil versus Sean, the back shots are the main problem for Sean. But I think Sean was so conditioned and so good here, it could really lend itself to giving him the edge over Phil. And based on what I've heard from some of my sources at the Olympia, some very higher up people, Sean was in the lead after prejudging, not Phil. Now, based on what I could see of Phil Heath from the pictures and videos that I ended up seeing after the live stream, he looked good. His gut looked better than last year, but it certainly wasn't the best version of Phil that we've ever seen. I think a lot of us were expecting kind of a slam the door, lights out, Phil Heath is the winner version of Phil. We didn't see that, but I do think we saw a slightly better version of Phil than we saw last year. I think there was, to be honest, there was still a little bit of distension in Phil's gut, but it certainly wasn't to the point where it was last year. It's certainly not. So I think this isn't what a lot of people expected. I think this will be a very close Olympia, surprisingly close between Sean and Phil. I think a lot of people were expecting this to be a big Rami and Phil Heath battle, but I think what we're going to see here is a war between Phil Heath and Sean Roden. Now, I'm pretty sure back in 2016, Sean had a couple votes for first place at prejudging when it was Phil versus Sean back then, and then Phil came back and got him at the night show. So that's very possible again this year that Phil Heath could come in better at the night show and sweep Sean Roden and get the edge at night tomorrow. But only time will tell, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the prejudging. Let me know what you guys think about that live stream, man, because I really want to get the live stream on my channel next year and not on some random website, because that's the problem. These websites don't have the bandwidth to live stream a video. I guarantee you guys iHerb.com has probably never live streamed anything before. And it's never been on YouTube before officially, so I'd like to get it on my channel next year. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.